What's up, everyone? Dub Jellison. I'm here with Boilermaker legend Ryan Cline. What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing all right. Appreciate having me on, dude.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for doing this. So how have you been handling this whole pandemic and quarantine and all that?
I mean, I'm still lucky enough to have a job. I'm running around for work from hospital to hospital, making deliveries and covering cases when I can. So my background and my job is I'm in the OR with the surgeons and I'm basically kind of their guiding hand whenever they need me. And they're obviously performing the surgery, but if they have any questions about our products, I'm there and I'm on my feet and ready to go.
So you're in like pharmaceutical sales?
I'm in medical
sales. Medical.
Yep. Medical sales.
Why did you want to do that coming out of college?
So I really didn't know what I wanted to do. My parents gave me actually a couple months to kind of roam around and decide what I really wanted to do. And this opportunity came up, and everyone's telling me it's a great field. It's very tough to get in, and if you have the opportunity to go for it, and I did. I haven't looked back, and I love it so far.
For sure. That's good to hear because I mean, a lot of Purdue fans wanted to see you go on to the next level and play professional. Is there a reason that you didn't choose to do that?
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of reasons that went into it. One of the bigger reasons was that I have a pretty bad low back. It started about midway through junior year Big Ten season. I pulled it pretty bad lifting, and ever since it's really just never been the same. I couldn't see myself playing another 2 years when I was thinking about it the past summer. So I just thought it was the mature and the right decision to get my name out there in the workforce while it was still kind of lingering from the tournament. So it worked out for me.
Yeah. So did it get bad at like any points during your senior season?
No. So it never really like flared up unless it was the morning after a game and I'm playing 35 minutes that game, and the next morning it's just super sore, but it would never really flare up. But now, now that I'm kind of just hanging out and not doing as much, and but hopefully finally getting into the tournament. I don't know if you saw the roster announcement, but I had put my name on that team, so I'm starting to get back into it. I'm actually playing open gym with a couple guys later today, but I was doing yard work yesterday, and my back was just hurting so bad mulching, and it's just, man, it's something that probably won't ever go away for me, which is brutal, but it's something that I'm gonna have to live with. So it's tough.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to talk about that. How do you see the team so far? How do you like the setup with all the guys?
I mean, I love having the opportunity to go back and even hang out with those guys and just play with them again. I mean, it was a special group, and we had so much talent, and I think we still have so much talent on this team, on this roster so far. And I think that we've played together for so long that we're going to play well together, and we're going to be the best team out there with the best camaraderie and familiarity with each other that we're going to be able to make a run in it.
Yeah, for sure. Are you guys trying to recruit anyone else? I talked to Vincent last week, and he said he was unsure about it. I don't know if that's like his obligations with the G League and the Cavs and all that, but I've kind of been in his ear. I've been wanting him to play.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I want him to play. I mean, he's he's doing very well in the G League, and he's had a couple awesome games. I wanted Dakota to play, but I don't think he's going to. I just don't think that. And it's their decision. I mean, for both of them, they both have a shot, and they both have a dream of making a two-way deal or making it to the NBA. So if they think that this is going to conflict with their dream, man, there's no hard feelings there.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to get back to the reason, like, why did you choose Purdue over all the long list of offers that you got coming out of high school?
Yeah, so it was really between, Minnesota was showing high interest. It was Minnesota, IU, and Belmont, Purdue. And Purdue was my first big one. I'll never forget sitting in that film room with Paint and all the coaches and them offering me the scholarship. When you're a guy from Carmel, and it kind of took you a while to grow, and you weren't super highly recruited until your senior year. I'm sitting there just, I want to stand up and scream. I'm so excited that a high major school offered me, especially a coach like Coach Painter. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than him. And, I was so excited to have the opportunity to stay close to home and be able to play in front of fans that are just diehard fans, man. And like I said, it just doesn't get much better than Coach Paint.
Yeah, for sure. How do you think that both Purdue and Coach Painter have helped you on the basketball court, both on the basketball court and as a man?
Man, that's a really good question. I would say on the basketball court, man, it's all about your work ethic and how much time that you want to put into your game, and it's something that it's really on you. I mean, the coaches give us opportunities where there are times where they'll come out and do some workouts with us, but really it's all on us. Mm-hmm. But talking about being a man, I mean, he just preached so many life lessons. I mean, him on Dockets the other day, it's just it's funny because people are lashing out and saying no one wants to play for a guy like that. He's just a guy that preaches what he said on Dockets every single day, and it's something that really sticks with you. And he and I had a bunch of conversations, and obviously I went through a rough patch, but man, he stuck by me, and he's just a guy that cares more about you as a person than a basketball player, truly.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned that you went through a little bit of a rough patch. That was your junior season, right? At the beginning of it.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
When you served your suspension, how do you think that changed you as a person?
Oh, I mean, it changed my whole life, man. Seriously, I was going down the wrong path, and that's how kind of everyone has kind of it's tough to explain from a perspective, just because I personally feel like, man, that's a good question. I mean, it's so tough to answer, just because I feel like it's the best thing that actually ever happened to me, and no one's really gonna understand that, just because they weren't on the pedestal that I kind of was. And right when all the news came out, it was so tough. But disappointing all my friends and family was just such a kick in the ass that really opened my eyes up to things that really matter.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, I get what you're saying, because like the first semester my freshman year, I ended up getting like a 0.19 GPA. I only passed one class and I got an E in it, and that's probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. I changed my major. I've gotten into this because I talked to dope people like you, and I mean, it changed my life forever too. So I can appreciate you going through adversity, and then it changed your outlook on everything.
Yeah, man, 100%. I mean, it's something that they really don't understand unless you go through it. And just seeing the disappointment on my teammates' faces and my coaches' faces, and my friends and family, I never wanted to let that happen again. And I came out of it just a better person, a better player, and a better friend, everything. So it's like I said, obviously, I didn't want to have the press that I had, and people really changed the outlook on me. But I personally think the last 2 years at Purdue, I changed a lot of people's mind by keeping my head down and just doing the right things.
Yeah, you really took a big step from when you were an underclassman to when you were an upperclassman, especially senior year. I mean, you were probably our second best player. No disrespect, Carson. We had Carson on our team.
I mean, there's no disrespect there. That kid is a friggin' stud.
Yeah, he's a dog. But yeah, talk a little bit about that whole senior season and that insane tournament run that you guys went on.
Yeah, I mean, the start of the year was a little shaky. I mean, we had opportunity. I know we had an opportunity at Texas. That was a pretty big one. Carson, I think, had 40 points. I had a horrible game. We just had a couple slip away. I mean, I thought we should have won the tournament in South Carolina. We ended up losing to Virginia Tech, who is a very well-coached team, a very good team, who had a starting five that, that could have been the best starting five we had seen, all year, at least one of the best. So, it's really tough starting off 6-5. The Notre Dame loss was when everyone kind of opened their eyes, and it's like, we just lost to Notre Dame. Notre Dame's not good. Like, in my mind, Notre Dame was not good. We should have smoked them by 20, and that's when we kind of looked around and they're like, all right, if we're gonna play like this, we might as well, just be comfortable being in the middle of the pack in the Big Ten. So we came back after the Notre Dame game. We got our asses kicked in practice. Much deserved. I mean, it's tough losing to teams and losing games that you shouldn't lose to, or I mean, it was tough. So going 6-5 and being able to get that Belmont win at home was pretty good. And then what really turned our season around was the Wisconsin game at Wisconsin. We ended up going in overtime. They hit some bullshit banking threes. I think they hit like one or two of them. And oh my God, those are just the worst when those go in. I mean, just the worst. It's just so annoying. And I feel like we never had that kind of luck, which is just, besides Carson against Virginia, that's different. But that to me personally is the game that turned our season around. I mean, we wanted that one so bad, and the celebration in the locker room after was just awesome. And that's when we finally realized, hey man, we can contend with anyone in the Big Ten at any time, home or away, it doesn't matter. So I mean, after that, we kind of just took off, and we were able to secure home court advantage. We didn't lose in Mackey my senior year. That's pretty special, and that's something that I'll always be able to have. Grady and I, whoever would have thought that him and I are the winningest, the two winningest guys in our class for the history of Purdue. No one saw that coming. So that was pretty special.
I don't know where the hell I put it. I was wearing it the other day. That on your senior day.
Yeah.
I had that. I wore it the other day. I forget what happened to it.
I got a bunch of extra of those shirts. Those are pretty sweet.
Yeah, they were super cool. So then, I mean, you guys get in the tournament and Carson's popping off, and then you guys get to the Sweet 16 and you could just have a fucking insane game against Tennessee. What was going through your head during that second half?
I mean, nothing. You're just not thinking at all. I mean, and the absolute best feeling is when you hit one, and then I looked over at Coach G, who was our offensive guru. He's an awesome coach at Mercer now. Really has had an awesome first year there. Whenever you looked over at the board and you saw a play called for you after you hit one, man, you're just not thinking. You're coming off that thing thinking, dude, this thing's going up and it's 100% going in. So I had hit about 2 or 3 in a row, and then I knew that my name was going to be called a lot in the second half after that. So, I was just taking most of my opportunities, and that shot that I had against Grant Williams, there's about 10 seconds left, and I was just feeling it, and I was just saying to myself, hey man, I'm not passing this. I'm going to be the one that shoots it, and right when it left my hands, I knew it was going in.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in Tark last year as a freshman, and we were watching that shit, and dude, the whole floor was going nuts.
Yeah, it was just crazy. I had videos after and tweets from everybody, and all my buddies at Purdue, were at Brothers just tossing shots after and just getting after it. I mean, it was more incredible just to see the Purdue fan base have something to celebrate, and obviously, we wanted to get to the Final Four, and the ball didn't bounce, our way a couple times, but man, it was a special run, and I'm happy for our fan base that we got to show them, a little bit of fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
So after that game against Virginia, where we kind of had it, and then it was just, kind of just a game of inches. They got lucky and put that shot in as the buzzer ran out. What was your feeling right after that?
Oh my gosh! I mean, it's a feeling unlike any other. Just because you're sitting around and you're just like, man, I don't believe it's over. I don't. You just can't wrap your mind around it at the time. You're just kind of sitting there thinking to yourself, but you're really not thinking about anything besides how just upset you are. I mean, after the game, these reporters and all these cameras are in my face, and my hands are just down, and I'm crying, and I'm like, at one point, I just said, "Dude, get the fuck out of here!" Like, I literally told one of the camera guys, like, I'm not gonna say I told him to f off, but I mean, I told him to get out of my face because, like, I'm 22 years old. It's the end of my career. I didn't know that at the time, but I mean, it's the end of my playing days, and I'm upset, and people are on my face, and I'm like, man, I don't need that right now. Go over there and take pictures of the guys who won.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they're doing their job, but I also think that they need to have a level of respect for the players and coaches. Like, I don't know, a lot of people just don't look at that.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, but like so I wish social distancing was a thing there, because that guy was 6 inches from my face. Like, dude, get away from me! Like, I'm crying. Stop being.
So looking back at your playing career, what were some of your favorite moments? Maybe not that Tennessee game, but other moments that people might not think of that you really enjoyed.
There were a couple games at Mackey that were just electric. My freshman year, beating Michigan State and Maryland at home. Maryland, that was probably the most talented team that I've ever played against. They had Diamond Stone, Suleiman, who transferred from Duke that year. The point guard who should have left after his freshman year, Melo Trimble. I mean, all those guys were just studs. I mean, I think Jake Layman came off the bench or something. I mean, he's playing for the friggin' Trailblazers. I mean, they were just so talented, and they had ended up coming back in the second half because they were pressing us, and little PJ can't throw the ball over, Jake Layman. So they got a couple steals and they got back in the game, but we ended up winning that one. That was a fun game. Michigan State, my freshman year at home, Denzel Valentine. They had a big guy that was really good. Big white guy that was good. I don't remember his name, but they were talented. They had Tum Tum. I mean, and then they ended up beating us in the tournament championship. That was one thing I really regret, is that we made it to the tournament championship twice and we couldn't win it. So that was pretty tough. I'd say my other two favorites were my senior night. I mean, that was just so special. And then beating IU at home to win the Big Ten championship, that'll probably never happen again. I mean, that's just so sweet that you get to win a Big Ten title against your rival on your home floor. So those are pretty special times for me.
And what do you think you missed the most about playing at Purdue, both basketball in general and at Purdue? Oh,
just hanging out with the coaches and the guys in the locker room. I mean, just the overall camaraderie we had, man. It was so much fun, and that last year got more and more special because we got closer as the season went on, and we were more playing for each other at the beginning, or we were more playing for ourselves at the beginning of the year. We're trying to pad our stats. We're trying to show the coaches how good we are, show whoever how good we are. That doesn't matter as long as we lose. So towards the end, I feel like we were really being unselfish and playing with each other and really holding each other accountable. So that was something that I'm really missing right now. Just hanging out with those guys and just having that feeling of the energy in the locker room was just so much fun.
Yep. And then I know you have to go pretty soon. I just wanted to talk about all the NBA guys you played with, like Big E, Vince, Carson, Dakota, and Haas. Mm-hmm. What was it like to kind of learn from them and play with them and teach them things as well?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously special. I mean, these guys are so talented, and I learned a lot from Dakota, not just about basketball, but about how to prepare to be as good as you can be. he was always doing the right things. You know, he was getting extra shots up, and he would tag me along. You know, my junior year, and he really set the standard for my senior year and the way that I carried myself my senior year. And you know, he's a guy that I looked up to and still look up to just because he had such a great work ethic, and his time management was just, you know, so on point. He was probably the guy I looked up to the most. I mean, Carson is just he's an unbelievable talent. I mean, when he's on, just get the hell out of the way. I mean, like seriously, just like go stand at half court. Like, it's going up, it's probably going in. Biggie was probably the guy that I was most impressed with, just because, I mean, he's so hard to stop, and he doesn't stop working. Like no matter what, whenever he's in the game, he's 100%. And if you ever needed a bucket, you give the ball to him at 10 feet, he's going to score.
Mm-hmm. And then last thing before I let you go, happy birthday to Coach Gene Cady. It's his birthday today. What kind of relationship do you have with him personally, and how does he impact the team now?
I mean, I didn't really have like a close personal relationship with him. I mean, he would always come to practice and cracking jokes just like Payne always does. And he's just got such an awesome basketball mind. I mean, from what I've heard, you know, obviously I'm a little young to have seen him in his coaching days, but I've heard some legendary stories, some hilarious stories. And that GIF that I think Purdue basketball just tweeted happy birthday, and he's saying, "God damn it, Carson!" Obviously saying that. It's just hilarious. I mean, that GIF will always be out there. But he's just such a good dude, and he's always been a guy that we enjoy still having around the program, just because he's an absolute legend.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any stories that you can share on camera?
One of them, probably not. Another one, I mean, he just, they had like a loss at Illinois, and I guess he was pissed, and they got back at like midnight, and they get off the bus, and he's like, "Where are you guys going? Go get your practice stuff on." It would be so brutal. I mean, you know, all the rules and regulations now, that shit's not happening now.
There's no way.
Nope.
I'm going to let you go. I know you're a busy man. Thank you so much for doing this. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, of course, man. Absolutely. Anytime. I had fun too.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.